Trash people are coming out, passing by.
A little bit of traffic. Okay, we
Yeah.
are live with Joe Ganci. We are here. Welcome to another fabulous iSpring Leadership Series installment. And today we have, and Joe, you don't even need like introduction. Anyone who has their own bobblehead doll,
I
Joe,
do have my bobblehead for
yeah,
tomorrow.
you're going to need that because you know we're going to talk to the bobblehead doll all day. But
Yeah, this is my client. One of my clients made me this little bobblehead doll. It's my favorite thing in the world now.
e-learning Joe, I love it.
E-learning Joe. Yes, I am e-learning Joe. I've been creating e-learning for 32 years, and still love this field that I'm in. I work in e-learning every single day. I design and develop, but I'm mostly known as a tools expert. So here I am.
Fabulous. And Joe, tell us, so do you work with, tell us what you do. So you work with other companies helping them to implement strategies, or is it more tools?
It's a combination of things. Yes, traditionally and still now, I work with large companies and government agencies and nonprofits and so on to create e-learning for them, custom e-learning, depending on what their needs are. And then, but I spend a good third of my time training on tools, going to different companies and conferences to teach about how to use different tools and so on, and also combination of tools because there's no one tool that's perfect for everybody. It really depends on the situation. So I teach tools, but I also teach as part of my tools classes design. I teach how to do proper design as
Well,
well.
cool. And we have opened up the Q&A section of our Hangout. So if you have questions for Joe, definitely put those in here, and we'll moderate those and pull some in. And just to introduce my sidekick, my lovely sidekick, this is Taylor Stoffer, and I'm Gina Schreck, in case I didn't mention, I don't know if I even introduced ourselves, but
No, you really should.
and we are working with iSpring on all the marketing, and we love doing the Google Hangouts, and the time zone challenges make it a lot easier for us to do them than Paulina and the team there. Yeah, so.
Right. You have the iSpring people on board as well right now?
Paulina usually tries to log in if it's not, because we're a little bit earlier right now, but it's about 8 or 9 p.m. I think. Yeah. There, so. And look, we've already got questions coming in, and some of these I'll save for later if they're more generic questions just for iSpring.
Sure.
And then some of them. Yeah, so a couple of these we'll talk about towards the end when we talk about iSpring, but we want to find out about you, Joe, because 32 years you said.
Yeah.
I didn't even know e-learning really was. So you were in when it was all text, reading, and taking a quiz at the end.
No, not at all. Actually, we tend to think of e-learning as a new thing, and of course we didn't actually call it e-learning back then. We called it CBT, computer-based training. But in 1983, when I started in this business, I was still in college, and we had a mini computer-based system with dumb terminals. But the terminals had 256 colors. They had the ability to do video with video disc players. I mean, compared to what we're doing now, it was pretty. I mean, compared to what people had back then, it was really advanced stuff. Now, of course, it would pale by comparison. But the truth is, a lot of what we're doing now is not that different from what we were doing back then when it comes to designing interactivity and so on.
Okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What is what?
Is that a good thing that we're not doing a whole lot different?
Well, what I'm trying to say there is that design, proper design, is something that it has been known for a while. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden last year someone said, you know what, it would be much better if we designed our e-learning this way. No, I mean, it's been known for a while. Now, what's changed, of course, are the power of the computers, the e-learning tools that we're using, and many of the technologies that, of course, now we're doing everything on the web. Back then, we didn't. We didn't have a web back then. We had instead, again, a lab at the university campus where people would come and take courses on a computer. And I created, the reason I started there was because I was fluent in Italian, and we had an Italian club on campus. And one of my Italian professors, I was doing history and literature. I graduated with computer science bachelor's, but I got an associate's in Italian history and literature. And one of my professors overheard me one night talking to a friend of mine saying, you know, my friend asked me, what are you good at? What do you think you're really good at? And I said, well, I love programming computers, I love languages, and I love writing. And unbeknownst to us, the professor was sitting in his room listening in on the whole conversation, because this was in the evening. We thought everybody got home. We were doing copying of the newsletter for the Italian club, and he came out and said, "Hey, I might have a job for you." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And then, sure enough, I started programming this computer, designing and developing an Italian language course over the next 3 years.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And I just fell in love with the whole idea of combining, combining the writing, the teaching, and the programming all in one area.
It's fascinating to think that long ago. I would have never thought, but I guess you're right. Computer-based training is still e-learning. Yeah.
When was the first? When was the first tool? When was the first CBT tool first found? I guess not founded, but created. When was the beginning?
See, I would have thought in the mid-90s because of personal computers coming on the scene, but you're right. You made me now rethink that. So it's got to be probably in the 70s. No, probably earlier.
You're so young, and Taylor, you're even younger, I think.
I'm out.
No, actually, the National Science Foundation funded the first e-learning initiative. Didn't call it that back then. In 1960, and it was called Plato.
Plato.
Everybody's heard of Plato, I think, in this industry. And then the second one was in 1967, and that was called Ticcit, T-I-C-C-I-T. That's the one I ended up using. But yeah, it's been a while.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of things change over the years. It started in 1960, you started in the 80s, and now we're in 2015. But what's the biggest advancement that you've seen in the e-learning industry?
The biggest advancement I've seen is, it's a really good question. I just don't want to blurt out an answer because there's so many different advances that have occurred. But I think the obvious one is the technology, the ability to, the biggest advancement really is the web. Because being able to deliver now to anyone at any time and update instantly, that's enormous. I gave a keynote 15 years ago, both here in the States and also over in the Netherlands, I called it 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because it seems like every time there's a new initiative, a new technology, we would take a leap forward, but they would also take a step back. So, for instance, we used to have video disc players, as I said. These were big, bulky machines, but that had video discs. They were like huge CD-ROMs, but they were huge. But they gave beautiful full-screen video. And then guess what happened? The QuickTime and other technologies for digital video came out, but they were postage stamp size on the screen like this initially. So we took a step forward because we didn't have to have this big, bulky machine, but now suddenly we were dealing with this.
Right.
And that improved. So I see, technology is constantly giving us a leap forward in many areas, but then also stepping back. The most recent one really is mobile. The fact that now we can deliver to mobile devices, but as such, we have to deal with the fact that we can't use flash anymore, and we also have smaller real estate to deal with in many cases. So we have challenges now, new challenges that occur all the time, and that's why I still love what I'm doing, because it never stops being, it never becomes boring. There's always something new to new challenge to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. When you look at, I was wondering if you were going to say mobile was one of the biggest advancements because it just kind of changed the landscape and how we all deal with things. But yeah, there's so many technologies, and everything's continually changing, which we talked about last month with Robert Gadd of just how you never can really, which that was when you came in with your sarcastic comment, when we said you can't rest on your laurels.
That's true.
And I think that's how we ended the show, is we all agreed to rest on our laurels just for the weekend. But yeah, it is interesting, all the advancements. And do you see now, there's always new tools on the scene. Are you seeing more helpful tools or just a flood of new tools?
Well, no, okay, so that's a good question too. God, you guys have really good questions. But I refuse to answer. No, I'm not.
Yeah, on the grounds that it might incriminate me.
There is a lot of both. Okay, there are a lot of tools that I'm evaluating tools all the time, because for Learning Solutions magazine, I write a monthly column on tools. And in fact, I just submitted one yesterday that I'm covering 2 tools that have never been covered before by me. And one of them is it'll be out next week, and one is EXE, which is the e-learning XHTML editor or something like that, and the other one is a tool called Nimble Author. And like everything else, every tool that's in existence has a reason to be in existence. I mean, it wouldn't last in the marketplace if people didn't find it useful in some way. And so that's why there's no perfect tool, because some tools like iSpring are absolutely perfect for for a lot of situations, but not necessarily for others.
Right.
And then you might need in other cases other tools. So what I always tend to focus on is who's the learner audience, what is the content that I need to teach them, what is the context in which that needs to be taught, and how is it going to be delivered. Now, based on those questions, the answers then lead to, okay, this is the instructional design that we need to put into place, and it has to have drag and drop, it has to have video, it has to have, whatever the has-to-haves have to be to ensure that the learner is really going to learn. I mean, after all, what's the point of e-learning if people aren't learning?
Right.
But I often say 80% of e-learning is crap. Because why? Because it's just nobody's understanding the fact that if people are bored, they're not going to learn. If people are going to just get very linear learning with no real interactivity in it, they're going to tune out. And so the question begs a number of other questions, and I'm going to try to wrap this up now to say that there's a lot of both. There's e-learning tools out there that I'm not sure why they even bothered writing, because there's a lot of other tools that do similar things. But then the exciting stuff, to me, for instance, let's talk about PowerPoint add-in tools. They've been a lot of those coming in and out of the industry in the last 10 years or so at least. I remember seeing the first one, and there were a flood of them back in about 10 years ago at an ATD conference, AESTD back then. Yeah. But a lot of those aren't around anymore. Why? Because they didn't do a good job. The ones that are still around, like iSpring, do a great job. And iSpring was the first one, for instance, really impressed me at the time, that went to HTML5, that took PowerPoint and went to HTML5. Okay, now others do that too. They follow their lead, of course. But in the end, what we're talking about is iSpring has certain features about it that make it excel in the marketplace. But is it always going to be the perfect tool? No. There's going to be other tools that are needed too. So I love having iSpring as part of my, quiver of arrows that I can pull out the arrow when I need it. But it's not going to be, the same arrow each time.
Right. That's what I would say. You can't build a house with one tool. You need different tools.
You could, but it would not be.
If it was a screwdriver, as I call it, the crisscross screwdrivers, you couldn't do anything. Yeah. Now, Jill, I'm curious, because you made a point about something that I tend to get frustrated with, when you say so many companies still aren't putting together, they're putting together crap instead of great learning programs. What do you see as being the biggest obstacle? Like, what is it that causes, is it lack of time or funding? I mean, what do you see being out there with the companies?
It's a number of factors, and I think the most important one probably is lack of education. They just don't understand what it takes to create good e-learning. And so if someone has always seen, I don't know, a black and white television, let's go back in time. They've always seen black and white TV, and someone says, well, we have color now. They might say, well, I don't need color. I'm perfectly happy with what I have. And so someone who's never seen good e-learning and has always seen, just simply a PowerPoint presentation that's warmed over a little bit, and maybe a quiz tacked on the end of it, they think that's e-learning. They think that's good e-learning, and so that's what they're expecting to have, and so they don't think it's going to take much time or money to do because of that. But they don't realize that if they recall when they took that e-learning, it was bad.
Yeah, which is so ironic, because there's so much great e-learning out there about e-learning. It's like, how are you living and working in an environment about learning, and you don't stay on the cutting edge in front of what's coming out?
But I don't blame most of the developers and such. I blame the people who are handing out the contracts, because, and I don't really blame them in that sense. I say that's where the fault lies, because we don't do a good enough job of educating them, nor do they always give us the time to educate them. So I'll give you an example. many times when a company comes to me and they haven't done really good e-learning before or any at all, and they'll come to me and say, "Here's what we need. We need this by 2 weeks from now. It's got to be this. It's got to be that." And I'm like, "No." Or
Yeah.
either I'll say no, or I'll say there's three answers I'll give. No, or I'll say we can't possibly get that much done, but here's what we can do. And the third is I'm willing to do what you want, but only under the condition that I can come in after this deadline is met and talk to you about proper e-learning. And a lot of people take me up on that third one, and so I've created some good crappy e-learning, very quickly, um, and then gone in and showed them and wowed them by giving them examples of here's good, better, and best. I mean, it's unfortunate that Radio Shack is going out of business, but I remember distinctly when I was a kid, they always had this good stereo system, better stereo system, the best stereo system, or good TV, better TV, best TV. And so, kind of the similar option there. But yeah, it's a lot of it is just getting the time with them to convince them. And yeah, let's face facts too. A lot of them are being given initiatives by higher ups that say, we need you to do this year, and one of the options there is e-learning. They have no clue what e-learning is. They just know it's something they have to get done this year. They wait till November, and then they go like, oh, we got to get an e-learning thing done. And so they'll go online into Google and type in e-learning, and the first thing that pops up is what they'll get, and do. And it may not even be something custom for them. They may just buy an off-the-shelf piece that's not going to serve them at all because it doesn't address their needs. So I mean, in the end, there's a lot of good reasons why it's not happening, and we just have to keep fighting.
So what's one of the most exciting tools that you see right now in this e-learning space? Is there anything exciting that we should know about?
Tool? You mean an actual authoring tool?
Yeah.
Anything
in your quiver? What's something that excites you?
Yeah, I actually do use several different tools a lot, all the time, and some of them are, PowerPoint add-in tools like Adobe Presenter, iSpring, and a lot of times it's depending on what the client is using as well. They want to continue maintaining. If they come to me and say it has to be Adobe Presenter, I'll use Adobe Presenter. If they say it has to be Articulate Studio, okay, I'll do that. I mean, I have all these tools, so I can use whichever ones they want. Now, having said that, most exciting, there's a few tools that I find kind of exciting. Okay, one is the responsive design aspects of Adobe Captivate is something I've not seen any other tool even address yet. Responsive design means that when you go to a website, it no longer has a mobile version and a web version and a desktop version. It will adapt itself to the device that it's being used to view it. So if you go to my website, eLearning Joe, for instance, that's adaptive. It's responsive. It means that if you took your browser and started to squeeze the width of it, moving back and forth, you'll see that the actual content's changed to accommodate the new width. So that if you look at a mobile phone, etc. Okay, so that's pretty exciting stuff because that means we can now create learning that's going to look correct on all of them. I'm hearing an echo now all of a sudden.
Are you? I don't hear it.
Okay, just ignore it, but it's tolerable.
It's it's the bobblehead, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be quiet, you. I love the fact that tools like iSpring and other tools that work in PowerPoint have been, in the last couple of years, adding so much more than what was possible before. It used to be that you really couldn't do much more than warmed over PowerPoint. Now you can do a lot more than that. Right. Is it the end all and be all? No. Now, there's a couple of other things that I'm really focused on that I'm finding exciting. One is I think that I think the best e-learning, not the only, but the best e-learning is really that in which you have case scenarios, challenges, and role-playing. So the learner is being put in a position to solve a problem. Here's a situation. And when I teach classes, it's always around that idea of creating role-play, the scenarios. And so often when I teach a class on, say, Captivate or Storyline or anything, I'll get evaluations that say, wow, Joe really taught me this tool, but he opened up my mind to new ways of doing instructional design I never thought of before that's going to change everything. And I love that because really, if you think linearly, that's all you're going to end up creating.
Right. That is cool.
When we go to school as kids, that's what we get. We get a linear experience. Every day we get instruction, and then we get quizzes and tests. And so we tend to create e-learning in the same way,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be. This is all individualized. And then finally, there are some nifty new technologies that really take advantage of JavaScript and others behind the scenes that allow us to do even more than we ever could before. So I'm not going to be able to point to one thing and say this is revolutionary. It's just that there's progress being made all along the way.
And here's a couple technical questions that have come in that might tie into this.
Okay.
Well, they're very specific iSpring. It's like, let's see, who does it tell who this one is from? Oh, one of the first ones, does iSpring 7 allow for drag and drop questions? Will that work in PowerPoint and in WordPress? Well, it definitely works in PowerPoint.
I think in WordPress.
Yeah, I'm not sure WordPress. The other question is, does iSpring Presenter support the teacher to improve the speaking skill of students if they're given quizzes?
That sounds like a content question to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that, yeah, I mean, you can use iSpring to create something like that, but it's not something that you click a button in iSpring and it pops out of the box.
Right, because you can actually add audio in there and video in there, and so it certainly could support the teacher to improve speaking skills of students if the quizzes are designed with those elements in it. So that might be a little more in depth. Well, and just to kind of wrap up, I can't believe it's already been 30 minutes. Yeah. What do you think? I'm kind of looking in your crystal ball, you know, looking into the future. Do you see more in the area of gamification, or do you see? I mean, it's so hard sometimes to even see. But what are some of the things you see in the coming down, or that you would like to see coming down in the future for e-learning?
Good question. And I'm going to paste a link right now into the window that you can share with others. Because you mentioned crystal ball, and I just had an interview published with Learnovators. Learnovators interviewed me, and they published it last week, I think, or the week before. And it gives you a lot of my philosophy on all this as well. So people are welcome to go read that if they wish.
And it does look like someone said they are hearing an echo on your end. That is weird. I don't hear it. So it must be coming through.
Let me do this. I'll plug in my
headset.
And then see if that.
Whoever, and I didn't see who put that. Has it been like that the entire time, or just in the last few minutes?
Say again?
I was going to ask the audience if they've heard that echo the entire time, or just in the last few minutes. We'll see. We'll see if somebody posts that there.
I still hear an echo, and I have my headset in, so.
That is weird.
Okay.
So I see in the future technology that works well without echoes and tweaks like this.
I'm sorry, so let me repeat your question. I
just
mentioned crystal ball, so I put that up there.
Yeah, just, I mean, what are some things that you, again, you're out there with the clients and you're out there testing and playing with all the tools. Do you see anything coming in the future that, again, might be something that we should be looking towards those trends?
Gamification is something that has been a buzzword that, you know, it has application, but yeah, I'm definitely hearing echo. I think it might be your speaker and microphone. If you just maybe lower the speaker on your end, maybe.
Let me try that.
Because it seems to be coming through yours. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, there it's gone. But I can't hear you now, so.
Yeah. Well, no, I just maybe just I'll turn the volume down. Huh.
Okay.
That's where that just started. Okay, I'm gonna mute mine while you talk.
Okay. So yeah, I was saying gamification is a buzzword that, like many buzzwords, has application in certain areas, but I think it's overblown in others. The idea that we should make e-learning, there's a big difference between making e-learning a bunch of games and also instilling some game type of features into our learning. I have no objection to, as I said earlier, I love to challenge the learner, and sometimes having badges or other kinds of things like that that are common in gaming can go a long way towards e-learning. What I don't want to see, again, it's all dependent on the learners, the audience. I'm sorry, the learner audience, the content, is that we start slapping on, Jeopardy types of games and so on. I'm so sick of Jeopardy types of games. I see them everywhere in e-learning, and I'm thinking, why? What is the purpose of that? It's not really helping the learner learn any better. It's frustrating because now they have to go through yet another layer to get to where they're going. What should we look towards in the future? Ease of portability. What I'm looking for, and I think it's coming, is the ability to author once and apply to many. So the ability to take an e-learning course you've done and then be able to output it in many different ways. And we're almost there, I think. But the real thing I'm excited about is analytics. This is one area that we have been completely ignoring in most cases, and that's why there is so much bad e-learning too, is we never see the real repercussions of what we're doing. Whereas with better and better analytics being put into place, we're going to be able to see not just smiley sheets, it's like, oh, did you like this thing? Say yes or no. No.
Even though it makes the presenter feel so good.
Oh yeah, it's exactly. No, but actual data that says, here's how people are responding, and here's where the problems might lie, and so on, and have it actually circle back immediately so that we have adaptive learning. If someone is having real trouble with a topic, let them branch into a different area where they can get extra help. It's possible to do now, but it's getting easier with different tools out there, and also with different technologies that are being built into the current tools we have. It's also quite possible to do in the current tools we have. It just takes an extra level of effort that sometimes we're not, doing. Does that help? So analytics, big on analytics. I say if you go to a conference, look up the analytics sessions and see. Some of them are really boring, and they have bad presenters, but some of them are kind of interesting.
But the content, if you can hang in there for the content, and it's interesting because S. Wright, I don't know, but the commented and said, I agreed on gamification as stealing time for real learning content, and then Delisa talked about earbuds. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never had a problem with this on this end, but yeah, for some reason right now you never know. Sometimes we all need headsets, and other times it works great. So weird. But Joe, you are always a treat to talk to. You're just a
wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, truly a wealth of. Well, anyone who's been doing e-learning for 32 years, we all need to listen. To what you say. And Joe, where can people find more information to get in contact with you, or more information about your work?
My website is elearningjoe.com, and you can write me at joe@elearningjoe.com.
Easy. Perfect. Easy.
Okay, and this year I'm going to be putting up more and more resources, so keep checking back because there's a lot of stuff coming.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm not hearing you.
That is weird. Okay, I think I'm back.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Joe, for sharing your wisdom. And join us next month. Every month we're bringing you one of our wise sages in the e-learning world to share with us. So, Joe, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.